Charlie Parker didn't know anybody until Joe Jonas threw a symbol at his head.
So that's your idea of success, huh?
I think being the greatest musician of the 20th century is anybody's idea of success.
Dying broke and drunk and full of heroin at the age of 34 is not exactly my idea of success.
I'd rather die drunk, broke at 34 and have people at a dinner table talk about me than live to be rich and sober at 90 and nobody remember who I was.
All right, gang, whiplash.
want the fucking part or not?
What's up, guys? We're gonna start this here in just a bit. What's up, guys? All right, guys, let's get this rocking here.
I don't know why this thing's always doing that.
Okay, so let's analyze this here real quick, guys. Let's take a look at everything. The markets over the weekend have been interesting. Well, over the last couple of weeks here have been interesting. So I'm going to mark up everything here, guys. We'll see how it works. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to give you guys just some of my insights here on what I think is going to happen next here with markets, and then we're going to go from there. All right, guys? All right, so let's break it down here. If you guys have any questions, just feel free, like I said, to ask in the chat. I'll answer them in the chat box. Now I have the chat box open because before I did it, and it was always giving me issues. Okay, guys? So let's run this here, guys. Let's run this. Okay, so the first thing I'm looking at, let's look at news here first. Government shutdowns about to obviously get cut here. So with the government shutdown getting cut, this is good. This is actually going to make markets move to the upside here. So we should see markets move to the upside. Let's look at the news here with the government shutdown. I think government shutdown is now officially over. I just want to double check. Trump updates Senate, pushes forward on deal. Let's take a look at this here. On the 41st day of the government shutdown, the plan through the Senate was to help the Democratic defectors without any type of insurance. Here's the latest news on it. This evening, okay, Speaker Mike Johnson saying he would give members 36-hour notices. I'm trying to look for like other news here to be able to figure out what we could see with this government shutdown, but to be honest, guys, the updates, it's horrible that CNN is the only one that's giving us any type of really good government shutdown updates here. There's still hope, but that's really it. There's no like so annoying. Okay, since there's no like news on government shutdown here, even this week, guys, we don't really have data. we're in a lot of uncharted territory here with no data. CPI is also tentative as well because we don't know with the government shutdown if it's going to be even released here. So, I mean, my assumption here, what we're pricing in right now is higher CPI, core CPI month over month, which is big, and then lower CPI month over month, just for the general CPI. There will likely not be an inflation release this month. I mean, my eyes is inflation's probably risen year over year. Yeah, they have it as like equal here, nothing crazy. I mean, they're planning on doing some quantitative. Okay, so this is what I assume was going to happen because the market fears a low job market. So let's go back on, actually, let me look at the Fed Watch tool here. Because now sentiment here can change, and that's just my thinking, guys. Like with sentiment changing, that's going to obviously affect the way that I see everything, okay? Because I don't want to see sentiment change. There's a 60% chance that we're going to have a rate cut. But if inflation's very high, we're not going to have a rate cut, guys. You understand that, right? So in a month, there's a prediction that we're going to have a rate cut. Let me see this here. Okay, my thinking is this. If CPI, right? Let's look at CPI specifically. If it comes out higher than expected, I believe, this is just my thought process, the chances of us cutting rates, chances of rate cuts go lower. Okay? So what does that mean? In turn, that means the market goes downward. And our market directional bias is going to be bearish. Now, if CPI comes in lower than expected, okay, then our chances of a rate cut go higher, which would make markets automatically rally. Okay? So if we have higher than expected news on CPI, markets are going to dump. That's going to be our bias here on Wednesday. If it's lower than expected, markets are going to rally. Okay? Now, let's look at how the unemployment claims are going to... Because we only have unemployment claims this week. I don't even think... Did we have NFP last week? Let's look at that. Because I don't even think we had that. Or... No, we didn't. We didn't even have that. Canada did. Canada had really good employment. But we didn't even have NFP last month. Bro, this is crazy. I've never traded in market conditions without NFP. Like, that is wild to me. This is like actually pretty crazy because I always trade with some sort of level of market conditions that have some sort of data, because NFP gives us the data for the month. It gives us market directional bias for the month, for the week, and even for the day. All right, so let me look at this here. Yeah, so the job market, same thing. If jobs come in hot, unemployment claims come in a lot hotter than expected, the chances of a rate cut is going to go higher. So what does that mean? That means markets are going to probably rally to the upside. Are we going to get this? I don't even know. We didn't get it in October 1. So when the government shutdown does, this is what's going to happen to markets, guys. When the government shutdown does end, markets are going to rally, but the news is going to be so bad once the reports come out that it's going to make a drop in markets. That's my prediction. That's my market directional bias here. This is just what I believe. You guys can believe whatever you want to believe. This is what I believe. This week we're also going to get core PPI. Hopefully it's tentative again. Government shutdown. We don't know if we're going to get this or if we're going to get this next month. We really don't know. Government shutdown. We didn't get one October we didn't even get one. Government shutdown. I think the job market's doing way worse than expected. The data is really bad. Because the data is so bad, a government shutdown, okay, I believe is harvesting the is hiding the data. Because the government shutdown's hiding the data, you're gonna see, okay, Dixie rally. People are gonna go to safety. I believe gold is one of them. Where do people usually go for safety? They go to gold and they go to what? They go to the Dixie. They go to the Dixie. Okay? So let's go over it. Let's look at how markets are doing right now. Price respected the daily zone. Okay, we did have a break of structure here, which I don't like. Usually when you have a break like that on the 8 hour, it usually means that we're still somewhat bearish here and that we could come here and then rally. That is a possibility, which would make markets rally. Okay, that is a possibility. Let me look at the 4 hour here to see if price respected that structural point. It did. I mean, if we break this structure here with a BOS, chances are we're going to pull back and this thing is going to 108, and most likely. And that means markets are going to crash downward. Wow. I put this, when did I put this? Like last week or something? No, this was here from this low. So this thing hit TP from last week from the sells. Now this thing is rallying here. So I was looking for additional sells. And we got some buys here. Let's look at what's happening this week. My bad, guys, if I'm yawning, okay? I'm freaking tired. I woke up early today, unfortunately. I don't like the daily. I want to be bearish here. I want to see this sell off. Why? I want to see markets crash. We do have BOSs here, like we do have a break of structure here, but a mitigation on a lower time frame here on the 4 hour. Right? Even here, you see that? One could argue. One thing I don't like, I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't want to see price break this structural point. I didn't want to see that. This previous correctional zone being broken like this isn't good. I did call some buys here on SPX, like down here. But hey, it is what it is. Well, what I'm looking for now is probably a fill of this gap. And I'm going to probably switch my bias here. Some of you guys are going to be thinking, hey, John, what kind of bias do you have? I just follow structure. Yeah, I have a negative bias sometimes, but hey, I always just follow what the chart's giving me because right now I don't have any type of fundamental news here. Okay? If I did, then it would be a different story here. But what my prediction is, price breaking this zone here, okay, still is technically bullish. We didn't close past the 4-hour structural point. This pullback here, we never closed this. All right, if we had closed past this structural zone, then I would say this is bearish 100%. Let's start selling the hell out of it because it's going down. SPX, but it isn't. It actually mitigated this area perfectly. Right? 4-hour never broke structure. So if it never broke structure, 8-hour it broke structure. Right? 12-hour, but it really just mitigated this candle here. You see that? 8-hour and 12-hour, even the daily. It didn't break. If it had broken, I'd say, guys, then this is 100% bearish here. But this actually looks very, very bullish. Now, what I would want to do is, I'm not going to buy it here. I'm not an idiot. Maybe some people are retarded, but I'm sorry that I said that, but what I'm looking for is a solid pullback, either here or here. That's what I'm looking for. Then I would probably ride it up at least to this mitigation zone if it does mitigate, or the next previous mitigation area, which will be here. Right? So I'd look for something like this here. For this to mitigate the 1.86 here. Right? Or I could just take profit earlier and start taking some profits here, here, and internally here if this mitigates and then comes down even lower. Because there's a possibility that happens. Right? You got to always adapt with markets. So I'm looking for some buys here because this has to get filled regardless. So markets are going to pull back here. Dixie's going to pull back. I mean, not Dixie, SPX. SPY's same thing. You see that gap here over the weekend? It's got to get filled. So it's filling up the previous gap at this zone, which it might do a swipe of liquidity and then come back down. There's still a possibility this thing shoots downward. Right? Now, the interesting thing about SPY, which is basically SPX futures, is this thing did break structure. No, actually did it? Let's look at it. Yeah, it did. That's the interesting part. This right here is super bearish. This is a BOS, right? So a BOS like that is very bearish, guys. This is actually very, very bearish. Usually it signifies that this thing is going to pull back, right? Mitigate, and then make another fall. That this is just one big correction of this impulse move. That would mean that this wave here is just one wave of a larger wave downward, because it technically broke structure here. Now, again, this is where fundamentals play a role, because if this happens, whenever this happens, and there's, I would say, a different story or misalignment. You know, you have SPY telling you one chart, futures telling you one thing, and then you have Forex, the Forex chart telling you another thing. That's when you go to fundamentals and you honor news. But right now, we don't have any because of the government shutdown. This would potentially mitigate and even come back down to these lows here at the 1.14. So we have to be a little careful here because we only want to trade this on higher time frames, especially in times like this when it's doing things like that. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Give me a second. Okay. So now Russell, kind of the same story here. Let's look at Russell here and see what's happening. So our Russell trade went great, right? The one that I gave out on Thursday. You see that? Amazing execution here. Now, the one thing that I think is interesting about Russell here is, let's take a look at this right now. Russell on the daily, did it break structure? That's what we always have to see, because right now we're very dependent on structure because of lack of real type of news, right? And so is institutions as well. So one thing I will say is we didn't break structure here. We didn't. Okay, that isn't necessarily, if you're bearish, it's kind of like it's a bad sign. Now, did we fill this gap? Yeah, we did, almost completely. I think we'll probably fill this gap, and depending on SPY tomorrow, we're either going to rally to the upside here, break this structural point, or we're going to respect it and then move to the downside. Russell trades a lot cleaner than SPY. I repeat, Russell trades a lot cleaner than SPY. SPY isn't that clean. Okay, let's look at the volatility index here. Dropping. This here is bullish for SPY if it continues. This is bullish for SPY. Okay. If it starts to break here, SPY's bullish. If it starts to break. But we have different things here. Gold volatility, let's look at it. It looks like it's about to start rallying again. It filled this indecision and filled this gap. You see that? Gap fill. Looks like it's going to start breaking structure, mitigate here most likely, and then move to the upside here. I want to buy it before winter. Why? I always want to buy gold before winter because of the seasonal chart. Okay? Around November, there always tends to be some sort of pullback and then a run and rally until December. So I do want to buy gold. Okay, let's look at November. Gold is usually bullish here. Okay, very, very bullish usually in gold. On average, on a 20-year seasonality, gold goes up 1.3%. So we're going to want to buy. Okay, let's look at the 10-year yield here real quick. Okay, so the 10-year yield did what I thought it was going to do. It went to the upside here and mitigated this zone. Okay, let's look at what else it's doing. The 10-year yield going, that means yields moving up means bonds are going down, which means money is flooding either gold, the market, or Dixie. Okay, that's actually a bullish indicator. That's not a bearish indicator. It's actually a very big bullish indicator. Yield should be going down when bond prices are going up. That means big money's flowing out. Let's look at gold. Wow. And I'll admit it, guys, I was wrong. I thought this was a possibility to move down. I had some shorts here, guys. I sold here and made money. I sold here and made $5 grand. So I sold here, made like $1,000, and then obviously stop profit hit, and we went to the upside. Completely fine. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to be right 100% of the time, but this is where, like, management, trading is a lot of management too, guys. Like, it's not just always, how could I say this, like being right all the time. I'm right a large part of the time, as you guys can look at the recordings, but it's the management that separates the good from the great, right? As soon as I'm in profit, what do? I move the stop loss at like 50 pips, 100 pips in profit. I move stop loss to break even. So even if it, or even a little bit of profit, so even if it gets me out, I make like, you know what, 50 bucks, 100 bucks, whatever. And that adds up over time, right? So that way I don't make that many mistakes. This is interesting though. This right here rallied out of absolutely nowhere and broke all types of technical structure here. Why? Why did it break technical structure? Well, my thinking was this here. We have order flow here. Usually with order flow, it's very, very bearish. It's not bullish here. Now, technically, some of you guys might say, well, John, is this still bullish? Technically, it's still bearish. Why is it still bearish? This is the impulse move. That means, what does that mean? That means it needs to come here and break this zone here in order for this to be recognized as being bullish. If not, it's still technically very bearish. Until internal sells, this is external sells actually, until it breaks this structural point here, okay, this thing is still considered bearish. Once we get a close above this zone here, then it's considered bullish. Make sense? And then what we're going to do is look for a pullback here to the upside. But it's too early to tell right now. And right now, it's still building its Asian range. I saw this yesterday start to move to the upside. I didn't trade it, guys. I don't trade every single day of my life, guys. You see the rally and the break? What does that mean? That means people are buying it. Seasonality tells you it's probably going to get bought up. Most importantly, let's go take a look at the bold report here. I think the bold report is going to give us a little bit of a better insight here. Right? Not BTC inflows. BTC inflows are down. And I think they're actually breaking structure, which is not good. That's freaking bad. Right? Gold inflows look like it's actually still kind of heading low, but this is the 30-day change. Oh, there looks like a rebound is happening here. Who's selling? BlackRock is selling. BlackRock is selling gold. Inflows are actually low for gold. Let's look at the total holdings right now. Some sell-offs here. This might be a bear trap. If we don't get a close above here, this is a bear trap for sure. If we don't get a close here above this zone, it's a bear trap. If we do, we're going to look for buys. And we're going to target highs. We'll probably target fib extensions here. Okay, now what do I mean by fib extensions? We'll probably target this zone, guys. We'll target here. We'll target 1.18. And then maximum, we'll target the 2.16. Maximum. Okay? Don't stress, don't worry. Some of you guys might be thinking, well, hi, John, we're missing out the move. Guys, I'm never stressed about the move. I made like $25,000, $30,000 on this gold run. I'm going to make another $25,000, $30,000 on this run. It's fine. We're going to wait for the pullback. We got to be smart about it, guys. There's always a pullback. Okay? We got to be smart about the way we move here. And even if there isn't a pullback, this might just be a bear trap. Until we get a break here, it's a bear trap, guys. Once we get the break and close, then we look for the buy zones. Okay? So that's what I'm looking for right now. Where am I going to look for buys? Here. This is where I'm going to look for buys. Internal buy zones. If it's not a bear trap, and here. That's it. There's no other place I'm looking for buys. If we get a close, I'll trade with you guys tomorrow morning. It's gonna come back down here and then rally. Okay? We'll see tomorrow morning. We're not gonna get an answer until tomorrow. Right here, this thing still needs to break structure. Gold futures still same, kind of in the same boat. USD CAD, oh man. This one I got stopped out. I did. But stop profit, it is what it is, right? So what am I looking now at this one here? I'm still bullish. You know why USD CAD dropped though? You guys know why, right? And this is why I always say news is important. It's because of what happened Friday. We're in a government shutdown, and what happened with Canada on Friday? What did they have? Their employment change report. And what was their employment change? They added 66,000 jobs. Canada did way better than I even expected. I thought Canada was going to the gutter. I thought they were going. I counted them out. I'm not going to lie. I counted out Canada. I thought Canada didn't have it in them. Okay, I'm being honest. I thought they didn't have it in them, but they did. And they crushed it, right? They crushed it. So, because of that, and this is why fundamentals are so huge, right? Because of that, USD CAD dropped, right? USD CAD dropped. So, what am I looking for now? Now, what am I looking for? That's the key. What are we looking for here? Okay, we're looking for some sort of bias to the upside here. If this is the mitigation in that indecision area here that I'm looking at, this thing can now extend and continue its run to the upside. Because even though the job market came out, this was one massive pullback. Swipe out buyers, and for this to reaccumulate down here, for us to buy to the upside. Okay, best believe I already have buys here. I bought last night. Best believe it, guys. Okay? I bought last night here. So, just understand that, again, for me, it's always about fundamentals. This is why I always take a look at things on a fundamental perspective here. Okay? Now we have something interesting here with GU. Very interesting. I was looking for a lot of shorts here. I am no longer looking for shorts on GU. Why? It's breaking structure that I'm not comfortable with. Okay? Unless it comes here, I'm not looking for shorts. But it's breaking structure that I'm not comfortable with right now. It is. And that to me is something that's very dangerous. If it's breaking that structural zone on the daily, this thing is a short. Right? Now I got to figure out how much of a short. And most likely we're coming down here, GU. Which means Dixie's probably going to continue to the upside. So what does this mean? This means we're going to look for some type of short here on GU. Either here or here. And GU is going to move to the downside. Okay? Now one thing that's holding me back from calling this out as a signal, there's one thing. It's this right here. It's this little small impulse move. That's holding me back. Because, again, this thing can continue to keep rallying here and then drop. See what I'm saying? So I want to watch Dixie tomorrow. Dixie tomorrow is going to be very, very important. USD CAD is more open, right? I love the way USD CAD looks. Okay, but the other one is just a little bit more difficult, okay? The last one I'm going to take a look at, and I know it's ugly. It looks super ugly on my chart, but we've been shorting Bitcoin for a very, very long time. Okay, so it does look ugly. It's an ugly chart right now. We've called a lot of sells on Bitcoin. And I called, guys, you can look at the recordings. You know what price point I called. Everybody knows. I called 98K. I called 98,900 or something like that. Where did it go? It went to 99. Let me see how low did it go. It went to 98. Wow, it went to my price, right? It went all the way down to 98,900. You see that? Why? There was a specific institutional candle I saw here. That's why, right? That we needed to fill on a lower time frame. Now, this is the thing. We didn't close below structure. That's the most important thing. Did we close below structure? No, we didn't. Will we this week? There's a possibility. What I don't like about Bitcoin, because this could be bullish. This could completely go bullish here. One thing I don't like, and I'm going to be honest with you guys here, is the weekly. For this to really be bearish, and for me to say, guys, we're going to sell the shit out of Bitcoin, I needed a weekly break below 100K. We didn't get that. If we did, I would say, guys, I'm all in sells for BTC. But again, we have to react to the market. We can't predict the market. If you predict the market, if you try to predict the market, guys, you're going to lose money. The 2-day is a different story, but the weekly overruns the 2-day. The daily, it respects structure. Okay, I don't think big moves are made based off the 2-day. Okay, the 8-hour, 12-hour is a break of structure. Okay, and this is why it's so conflicting. The 8-hour is a respective structure. The 4-hour is a respective structure. Yeah, respective structure, mitigation on the 4-hour, which is my zone. And then you have what? A start of a break. So because we're in this government shutdown, I have to watch Dixie tomorrow. But most importantly, what I'm going to watch here for gold is I'm going to wait for the next sell zone, which is going to be most likely here. Okay, then I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to make some external decisions here. Okay. Right now, where is it? It's at an indecision area right now as we're speaking. It's trying to break it, and I think it's going to. Right? That's what I'm looking at. I'm not bullish unless we break 111. Then I'm going to say, okay, guys, we're bullish. MSRT, very, very bearish. Did it mitigate, though? It looks like it's mitigating. There's got to be some type of pullback. NVIDIA. I know that Michael Burry dropped those shorts on NVIDIA. It still doesn't look like NVIDIA is ready to drop. We need breaks of structure. If NVIDIA had broken the structure here on the 8-hour, I'd say, all right, Michael Burry, like you're correct on your shorts. I agree with you. I'm probably going to short NVIDIA. To short the AI boom right now is stupid. I don't know why Michael Burry shorted 80% of his portfolio. I think it's pretty dumb to do that because there's so much liquidity here. I don't think it's smart for him to do that. Again, maybe he's going off of the S&P, and maybe he's going off of seeing Dixie rise. But look at that. And then Trump just announced a potential $2,000 stimulus check. I mean, they're going to pump and flood the market, right? That's what could happen. All right, guys. Other than that, we're going to mark up everything, guys. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all soon. Okay, we will be trading live tomorrow, and if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free, like I said, to visit the links in my bio here to help you out with your trading. Like I said, we're helping people pass every single day their challenges and also helping them see success in the market, guys. So if you guys have any questions or you want to be part of the team here and get some more exclusive inside look, get a fundamentals course and everything, all you got to do is go to the link in my bio, okay? And you'll see that, guys. You'll be able to see it, right? So just go to the link in my bio where it says work one-on-one with me. You could either apply there or try the free group, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a